Hey yo, what is going on guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm bringing you guys a Q&A video. I'm still here in the Alps in France, and today I'm with my friend Harry, who's going to be behind the camera, who's going to read out a list of questions that I don't have no idea what questions, and I have no idea what order they're in. So it's going to be my most genuine reaction when answering these questions. That's kind of the whole idea I had with this Q&A video. So without further ado, I'm going to have my friend Harry read out the first question. And
Great. So first question, did you finish high school?
did I finish high school? Yes, I finished high school. High school was a quite interesting experience. I had to finish my last 2 years of high school completely online due to the pandemic. With that, I had half of a sophomore year, and basically I spent those last 2 years playing a shit ton of video games and doing jack shit. So I finished high school, and I finished everything in like a 2 months period because it was just an online course, and I procrastinated to the very last minute. But yes, I have a high school diploma.
Okay. Why didn't you pursue college or university?
Okay, I didn't pursue college or university because from a very young age, I pretty much knew that I didn't want to go to school. It's kind of a lie, it's kind of not a lie. Growing up, I wanted to be a engineer, maybe in computer or mechanical engineer. My mom's an engineer, so that's kind of like how I got that. But I knew roughly around my early teens that I was like, college is not what I want to do. And I've just was inspired by so many people online with the digital era. I think with a lot of people my age, similarly, that we want to be able to create our own path and not follow the traditional path that is given to us and forced down our throats that may not be authentic to us or to everyone. I think that's what life is. It's not about just following what everyone else is doing, and it's about doing what you want to do. To an extent, you have to make your own decisions, and personally, I didn't want to go to college, and that's why I didn't pursue it.
Why did you decide to move to Europe and live in Paris, France?
So currently we are in France. We are here for a week doing a snowboarding trip, and it's doing stuff like that which increases the attraction of Europe and especially France. I love France. I made a few friends, including my girlfriend, I met in New York, which is probably one of, like, if I could give a tip to anybody out there, which I know during college you can meet a lot of different people, especially if you have exchange programs, but making friends like internationally will open up the world to you because it gives you more motivation, and it's easier to travel to those places where they're from. And so going back onto the main question of why did I move to France, really I came here about 2 years ago now for summer, and I absolutely just fell in love with it. Compared to America, Europe, it's starting to follow some of the policies and following in the footsteps of the West, typically, just mostly America. And so there's some parts and some things that are, kind of iffy, but quality of life, the food, the lifestyle, being able to do things and not feel like it's the end of the world in a way, and because like, if you want to do a vacation, like let's say you're living in New York and you want to go to LA or Miami, the trip in itself is just such a hassle. Where in Paris or in France, you have the TGV, which is a train system. It's max a 3-hour ride from the north to the south, which is nothing. And if you're American, a 3-hour car drive is like probably just in your own town or your same city, especially if you get stuck in traffic, like places like LA or New York. And there's something just about European culture that's just so authentic. Everything is so real. You can't fake, the architecture. You can't fake the culture. You can't fake any of these things. And so I have a deep appreciation for this place. And yeah, I mean, I love everything about it. I just love Europe. France it's a little bit more modern, so that's kind of why I landed on Paris. But Paris is a great city, even though it has its faults.
How important do you think traveling is?
This is a good one. Traveling, like, I think like most people, everyone probably wants to go traveling. They want to see the world. But I think it's for not all the right reasons. I think people want to travel just for pleasure, to vacation, to get away, which I can 100% agree. We all may need some alone time or some time to relax and rejuvenate. The reason why I would recommend traveling to anyone, and especially if you are young, if you can, whatever your situation is, even just doing the bare minimum by going to go see other towns near you, going to go drive around and, just going to go see things. One, it inspires you. Two, it opens up your mind and your eyes to different ways of living. So you don't think that where you come from and how you were raised is the only way of life there is. So for me, I used to, I grew up more Midwest America, for my international viewers, the middle America. So it's very boring. There's nothing to do. But I would travel to places like New York or Los Angeles or Canada. And okay, I'm still in my own country most of the time. But you see that not everyone lives the same lifestyle as you grew up. And so that opens your mind to the possibilities of what you can change and how you can grow. And so that's really what the bottom line is traveling can really just inspire you and force you to play hands that you wouldn't play before, to get to a certain point, whether it is making more money, opening up your mind about different cultures or people, and just having a broader outlook on life and not being so narrow-minded, because a lot of those people that that are labeled as hometown people, most of those people are very closed-minded to a lot of other points of views, and that's just one way I would recommend to opening up your mind to other possibilities.
What tips would you give to help someone build confidence?
The first thing that comes to mind is just what I can speak on, because I know it worked for me. What I did to become more confident was first, this is me being as honest as possible, it was just going to the gym. Like, it was getting in shape. Now, and also realizing you can't change the way you look. And if you don't become content with yourself, either the way you look or, the cards you've been dealt, if you can't just accept that this is what you've been given from God or from the universe or just in general, you're gonna have a hard time building confidence, because your building blocks, your foundation is wobbly, because you're going to make up for those places that you're lacking in negative aspects, whether it is like trying to impress people in the wrong way or trying to just do things for attention. And instead of building yourself as a character, building your body, building your, mental resilience, all these things, like putting yourself through hard things. And of course, for anyone can go to the gym. If you're a little bit overweight, losing some weight can help build your confidence. A lot of it does come down from how confident do we feel in our own bodies. And if we don't feel confident in our own bodies, we're not going to feel confident in any other aspect of our life, because there's some sort of mental, roadblock that's there, even if we're really good at other things. And I'm not saying everything is about looks. I would also recommend trying to be more social. And I know our generation is, stuck in their rooms, stuck behind computer screens, and not a lot of people are trying to be outgoing. And of course, there are a few people, but if you're a shy kid out there, because that's kind of like who this is meant for, these examples or these tips, it's all practice, and everything will, you'll blossom over time, and there's no wrong or right answer, but the best thing is just feeling better about yourself, and then things will branch off from there.
So a rather similar question, but what advice would you give on how to become more respectable as a person?
To become more respectable as a person, I would say, when I look at somebody and when I see someone that I see is respectable, as, let's just say, your average person, I would just say it's as simple as just being kind, being thoughtful, and not being so greedy about everything, their respect can really boils down to like very basic things. You don't need to be some, crazy rich person or a famous person to have respect. To be respected and to, gain respect, it's all about character and the way you carry yourself. And so that's something I've learned and something, I'm still learning about, because we all change, we all grow, and we all, we all learn new things. And so if you don't feel like people are treating you with the respect that you feel like you deserve, then it's one of two things. The people that you're surrounding yourself with don't value the same principles as you do. And so you're putting yourself in, a bad environment, so you're not going to be respected. And I would say two is, if you don't respect yourself and you don't know what standards to hold yourself, then others can't see where you place yourself and how you see yourself. And the way we see ourselves and the way we carry ourselves is projected on, our environment and then the people around us. People can pick up on the ways in which you respect yourself and in which the ways you emulate yourself. It could be in the way you dress, it could be in your mannerisms, and it could just be the simple ways of just how you speak to people, being kind, being, nice, being, grateful, having these emotions and treating everyone with, a baseline of respect and kindness goes a long way, and other people can pick up on that, giving you that baseline respect that I feel like, respect is a tricky thing, because I believe we're all human and we're all on this planet together, and that we shouldn't be treating each other in wrong ways, of course. But I think when a man or a woman is respected, it is because, to a high level, it is because they're able to do the thing that they like doing, or that they're good at doing very well. And so it could be in anything. It could be sports, it could be whatever. That is a form of respect that is the most highlighted. But I think real respect, and the honest truth, is that respect is just, being kind and being, thoughtful, and just carrying yourself in a positive and impactful way where the people around you can feel that.
What tips do you have on building a successful social network?
So building a successful social network. So basically growing your network. Of course, I think you need to be social, which is very important. And a lot of that is going to come down to your confidence, like we were talking about earlier. Actual tips in growing your network. The most actionable steps I would take is probably, depending on whatever field or whatever niche or whatever thing that you're interested in, could be Legos. And creating content about Legos, you're naturally going to attract people in your niche, and you'll attract people with similar interests as you. That's one way. But if you're not someone who wants to create content and do those things and put yourself, on the spotlight or in the limelight, I would recommend. So let's just say you're quite an average person and you don't have that, many friends, or you don't have a big group of people, or you don't have a big family, or whatever it may be, and you just want friends or people to be able to reach out to be able to go on trips with, or to go hang out with, go grab a coffee. The reality is, it's doing the things that you enjoy doing it alone, especially if it's let's just say it's snowboarding. The reality is, it's going to go to that trip by yourself, going to go snowboarding, skiing, going to go surfing, or traveling alone, where you're going to meet people that have similar interests as you, because you're putting yourself on your path, you're being unique, and naturally, sticking true to yourself and to your path, people are going to gravitate towards that. And on your path, you're going to meet people. It's very rarely where if you stick to something, you don't meet people along the way. And so it is taking that little bit of risk of, putting yourself out there and not feeling alone or shy.
Great, that leads me on well to the next question. How does one become more charismatic?
Charisma is a funny thing, because there are some people who are just very naturally charismatic people. I think we all know, like, there was those kids at school, or those few, like, those one or two people who are just, they lit up the room every time they entered. But as you get older and as you start to develop routines and you start developing habits, you start going into a cycle of doing the same thing over and over. And when you do the same thing over and over and you are in a constant loop of repetition, you're going to work, you go back home, you go to the gym, you go back home, you go to the grocery store and you go back home. All these things where we're teaching ourselves, to stick to these habits, which are good for a certain period of time. But I think without a refresher or without a change in scenery or a change in action, it's hard to look forward to something. And charisma, I think, boils down to excitement. And if you are excited to do something or you are looking forward to something, it could be anything. That's where your charisma is going to come from. And if you're excited about life, whether it's just going to the coffee shop, your whole mood and your whole energy and aura around you is charismatic, along that journey. And I think it's just as simple as that. Like charisma, it's not very complicated. There are some people who just have a more natural, exciting view on things. And it's all situational. We were all raised different, not everyone comes from the same environment. And so charisma it can be developed. And really it's just looking at life through a different lens. And it's just being excited to be on the journey that you're on.
All right, I want you to think about this one.
Okay.
Yeah. What has been the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
Oh, fuck. Oh, I was not expecting that one. What has been the most important lesson? A unique, life lesson that's very important, but they apply to separate aspects of life because, one super important life lesson doesn't speak for all aspects of life. I think the most important life lesson that I learned is that you really only have one shot at life. And it's quite cliche and quite, maybe basic, you only have one life, YOLO, but it's so true because there's a lot of self-limiting beliefs that are kind of placed on us as a kid. Some people less than others, but if you look at where I come from, it's not very many people are doing, the things that I'm doing right now. It's not because of money or because of it, it's because they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe that they are worth trying to achieve the things that they want to, And I'm hoping, because I'm starting to kind of see, I think, more people sharing their journeys, but there are still a lot of people out there that don't realize that, time is moving and it's not stopping. And so that's probably the most important thing I've really realized, because it kind of boils down and trickles to every aspect. If you're not feeling well and you don't want to go to the gym, well, how is that decision going to affect future decisions, And it's really realizing that the moment is the only thing you can control and making the most of that moment. Because, again, it goes back down to you only have one shot at this, You can do what you want to do. You have to believe in yourself, but it's those limiting beliefs that are holding you back.
Final question. What are your future projections?
My future projections, I have a lot of big goals, and I think a lot of people should have big goals. I think one of my latest videos, I said, if you aim for the moon and you miss, at least you land amongst the stars. With this saying, it is basically set high expectations not expectations, but set big goals, things that you want to accomplish, whether it's in 5 or 10 years or 20 years. It's always a great thing to write down your goals and have it, and visualize it. It's also another thing to actualize it. It's good to visualize, it's good to manifest, it's good to believe that, and believe and want more for yourself, but you need to actualize your goals. And so for me personally, 2024, it's the year that I want to commit to all the things that I say I'm going to do. That's really all that I can control. And recently, I've kind of fell in love with that, this saying. I don't know who said it, but it's just controlling the controllables. And in 2024, I just want to control the controllables as much as possible. 2024, I wanted to upload once a week. And so far, I haven't missed a week. It's really just saying and doing what you say you're going to do. And that's pretty much it. And of course, we all want, nicer and bigger and better things for ourselves, whether it comes from money or cars or having a house or traveling more. My future projections are just staying true to what I say I'm going to do, because that's all I can do. And I think having that perspective is pretty healthy, because then you don't blame or look for scapegoats for not doing the things that you should have done or that you wanted to do. There you guys have it. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was a different style of video. If you did enjoy it, please drop a comment, like, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.